Well, Simon, great resilience from your team today. Do you feel it was a fair result, though?
Probably, yeah, I think probably. Without watching the game back, because the emotion of the game, sometimes you might think something is not actually a true reflection. So I always like to watch the game back, but I think overall they're a difficult team to play against, and they're up there for a reason. So it was always going to be a tight, tough game, and I think in the end for us to go a goal down and come back and get something out of it again against the team up there, they have to take the positives from that.
It was interesting the way we talked on Tuesday about the way you imposed yourself on the game. They disrupted that today, didn't they? They stopped you doing that.
Yeah, and I think you have to expect that. It's a side that are, they're not going to come here and fear us, and neither should they, and neither should we fear them. So you can predict many things going into the game, but until it actually happens, everything's been guessing really. So they did try and disrupt us, but I thought we got to grips with things in the first half. After 10 or 15 minutes, and I thought we had a few dominant periods where I think we're asking questions, and then obviously the goal just after half time changed the game and gave them a bit of momentum, as goals do in tight games like this. So but again, pleased that we've managed to get something out of the game, and I thought it would have been a bit harsh if we hadn't got something out of the game.
I think you should take credit yourself as well, though, because substitutions were important today, and the introduction of Harry Cardwell really seemed to change the game, and of course he was involved in setting up Paddy Madden late on.
Yeah, I think we're striking the balance of looking after people at the minute, and Harry's got he's had one or two little knocks in before, so we don't want to be overzealous with what we're exposing people to Saturday, Tuesday until we feel they're robust and ready for it. So that was some of the thinking behind the decisions today, but absolutely today I felt like our bench would win us the game. That was in my thinking, and we had a strong bench, and as it turns out, I think you're right to point out that the bench influences the game. The boys that finished the match gave us good momentum, good threat, and we got that deserved equaliser.
Paddy Madden, I was even speculating, are you going to take him off? Are you going to make a change there? Because I knew you wanted to get Stretton on late in the game. I can see why you leave him on, because he can just change a game like that, can't he?
Yeah, look, I think it's easy to always, with centre forwards, of course everyone's going to assess their goal scoring record in the immediate situation, but the thing about Paddy is I think for us he can go a game without a goal and still have a massive influence, and that has absolutely been the case in the last couple of games. So whether the goal was going to come today or not, Paddy's experience, Paddy's sense of understanding of where to be on the pitch, that's always going to be a strength of his. So, but on the other hand, really pleased to see him get that goal, and he's deserved it for the last couple of games.
You mentioned Harry, you're just trying to manage him a little bit. In terms of starting with Alex today, Alex Reid, was that about pace? Maybe get between the centre halves, breaking there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what we are doing is we've got a good squad, we've got a good size squad, and we think everyone in it can contribute. So there is a certain element where we think different players for different type of matches and different challenges, and then sometimes there is a bit of management, and we want an energetic team, and to be energetic and to be at it in the way in which we want to be at it, you might need to mix that up from time to time in terms of personnel starting the game. So there's no over analysis of who's starting and who doesn't for me, because the thing is that if you don't start the game, you've got to be ready to come on and contribute from the bench, and I think we saw that today, and that again, I come back to it, is our spirit, and I can't question the boys' spirit, and their togetherness and their respect for the situation. So really pleased that we've come out with something, and part of that is the fact that we were able to start with different personnel to the other day and bring different personnel from the bench to affect the game.
Well, it's great to see you come back from behind to get the result today, to get yourself a draw today. One thing I don't expect you thought you were going to have to manage this season was a situation like you've had with Connor Jennings. It was lovely to see Connor here today, to see him. He's gone into the dressing room, he's been mixing with the players, he's had a smile on his face. How is he, and how have you found the whole situation?
Listen, Connor's okay. Connor's in good spirits, and I mentioned the other day that he's a spirited person, Connor. I loved my time with him in the first couple of games. He was in and around the group, the team, doing well for us, and I think how he plays is a reflection of his personality too. So he's okay. You know, obviously it was a situation that first and foremost, you know, Connor wouldn't have expected to find himself in. It's not the news, you know, you would have expected. Obviously, when you go for a scan on your shoulder and, you know, you come out with something a little bit more sinister than what anyone would have expected. So, listen, we are all 100% behind him. He's a great lad, and he's amongst a great group of footballers here, you know. And as a club, we are just with him, you know. And of course, it's easy for me to say, you know, I'm not Connor. I'm not the one dealing with that. With that news and that battle, but all of us are absolutely right behind him every single bit of the way.
How do you manage it sort of on a day-to-day basis? Are you sort of leaving it up to him, how involved he wants to be, how much he wants to come in, what he does on a day-to-day basis? How do you work that out?
Yeah, I think that's, you know, he's in and around it. I think there's a certain level of dialogue around what Connor can do, you know, and obviously I just leave that to the guys that know, you know, the expertise. But for me, as much as Connor wants to be around, he can be around, you know, and and you know, he's in the dressing room there. Just had a little chat with him about the game today, and that's great to see. You know, that's great to see, and long may that continue.
I presume that's helping the lads as well, because this has an impact on everybody, doesn't it?
Of course. Listen, dressing rooms are tight, close places to be. You know, the lads, it's family. You know, it's almost like a football dressing room can become like family. You're in each other's pockets all of the time. You travel around the country together, and of course the guys in there would have known Connor longer than me, so there's them bonds. And obviously JJ as well, his brother in the dressing room. So I guess, you know, it has been a tough one for the group to take, you know, but I guess really all anyone can do in these situations is acknowledge what it is and be there for Connor as best we can. But you know, he's fine. He's in there and he's asking me about the game. He's supporting the lads. He'll be on Monday, I'm sure, having a little bit of a crack with the boys, same as normal. So, and that's brilliant, you know. And again, if that can be around as long as possible, then that's good news for me.
I think you've done it with great, good dignity and compassion, I think, this last week. And the football world, of course, has all rallied round, which has been great to see. Just finally, we're coming up to Easter. I mean, God knows what that means in terms of where we are in the season, but we're coming up to Easter, which is always an intense period for football. And we're away at Aldershot. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we've been there 26 times since the 1950s. We've never won there. So it'd be a good time to change that, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm not one for measuring the future by the past. So, listen, it will be another really tough game for us. But, you know, I think 5 unbeaten now. I think there's been, you know, lots to be positive about in these games lately. And today's tough. You know, today is in the end, it might be a really great point for us. The same the way as Sutton last week, and what we said after the Sutton game was we've got a responsibility now because we've worked so hard to get back in it, to go and try and win the next one. You know, we managed to do that, you know, well against Eastleigh. So now let's go and make sure this hard-fought point gets followed up with a hard-fought 3 points away, starting at Aldershot.
I wish you a happy Easter. Well done.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Cheers.